Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
What's going on, buddy?
We're here to talk Vanderpump Rules, another Vanderpump Rules news and rumors video. Now, you may have noticed that we haven't done one of these in the past week or so after really doing 2-3 a week. And guess what? It's not just because the season is over. And that's kind of the main topic of our video. Last week, there was supposed to be an event with the No Filter podcast. That's hosted by Zach Peter. Actually, a really good podcast. People should check it out. Lala was set to be a meet and greet guest and also to sit down for a podcast interview, live interview type of event. However, that didn't happen. Lala was allowed to go to the event, was allowed to do the meet and greet and the photo ops and stuff with fans who had paid to do that, obviously. However, they were not allowed to do the interview. According to sources from the podcast, it's coming from the producers of Vanderpump Rules. They're basically putting a kibosh on cast interviews. I obviously during Scandival, you could not see them on anything. You cannot turn on a television or open your phone without seeing Ariana pimping out some kind of product. It's all good. You know, that part is what it is. However, if you've noticed since the end of part 3 of the reunion, there's really been a lull, and that's not a coincidence. It seems that season 11 is gotten underway, guys. Season 11 is filming. Tom Sandoval will be back. Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras just canceled a show in Southern California, rescheduled it for September. And the reason giving was due to a conflict with a filming schedule. I really doubt that Tom Sandoval is filming anything else than anyone else wants.
No, I agree. Definitely coming back. I'm excited. I mean, this means I know it sucks that we're not getting the interviews and things like that, but that means season 11 is probably going to be in our face, maybe the end of the year or very early 2024.
I'm going to get greedy. I'm hoping that they film through the summer and we get it in like October.
That'd be awesome, dude. That's like 4 months.
Well, because, you know, they can start to edit the early episodes as they go, right? They don't need to have the entire season.
Yeah, that's like edited. 3 months, dude. It's almost July. That'd be awesome for us.
I think it makes the most sense. I think with everything going on, I don't think you let this sit.
I agree. You got to strike while out's hard.
If you wait until next summer or the spring to do another season, I really don't think that makes any sense for anybody involved. I'm pretty sure they're talking about like Ariana maybe being like Dancing with the Stars, things all like that. And that stuff kind of starts soon. I bet all these kind of things could be storylines. Or she just opens her sandwich shop. Either way. I mean, that's definitely, I think, what's going to start the season is going to be the opening of the sandwich shop. They're just filming right now, and we're recording this on June 25th. You know, they were talking in early July. I think that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, or it like could even like it keep getting delayed, and the final episode is then finally opening, something like that. Kind of similar to like Schwartz and Sandy's.
I would kind of like that because then you would see Schwartz definitely throwing a little bit of shade about like how they made fun of him for not getting their restaurant open the whole time. That was kind of the main story. I do have some other side stories, rumors that I want to go over. Christina Kelly was on a podcast. Now, Christina Kelly isn't like a full-time. This was on Stassi's podcast. She's not a full-time cast member, so I don't know if the rules like really apply to Christina Kelly as much. I've also heard some things, we haven't covered this before, that she may be done with the show. I think the Scandival thing kind of is a lot for her. I don't really believe that. I think Christina Kelly wants more, not less, but that's only just the impression I get from watching. So people can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. If you've also heard those same rumors that I had heard, I saw a lot of it on TikTok. We got a little bit of background on the Galaxy Light gate from the girls' trip. Now, if you remember, Rachel had the Galaxy Light that she likes to sleep with that puts up little stars and stuff on the ceiling, like when you're kids. And whatever, if that's your thing. That was the night that she super blacked out, though, and doesn't remember any of the stuff she had said back and forth with the other girls. However, though, and the point was very interesting. She later on came and confronted them about things that they had said to her that night when she claimed to have been completely blacked out. When Stassi presses her on it, Christina Kelly basically says that one of the newer producers on Vanderpump Rules, so someone Stassi wouldn't know, went to Raquel behind the scenes and showed footage of them shit talking so that Raquel could be empowered and armed up. And that kind of makes me feel like at least that producer did not know that the Scandival thing was happening like that, because I don't think I know the reality TV people, but that would have that's like an automatic carpet bomb to be doing that. You're setting Raquel literally up to end up Huh, guess what? In a mental institution.
I feel like this happens way more often than we actually think.
It probably does. I'm like the reality TV like optimist, where like I'm like, there's no way they're doing this, and it's like, Bill, you're dope.
I bet you they do this weekly or every episode, and they probably reshoot stuff for a better reaction, or like, oh, you just found this out, and you let's like act like you're finding it out again. I think that happens a lot.
Uh, it's funny you said that.
Fortunately,
BFF pods, Dave Portnoy, Brianna Chicken Fry, and what is like Josh. I forget Josh's last name, but they had Snooki and JWoww on recently, their podcast, and they actually Dave asked them about this, and he was like, "Look, never got the impression that your show was staged in any way, or that like they were reshooting or anything like that. Like, what's the vibe?" They said in the original series, never. Everything's 100% real. We were just like in a house. There's like a bunch of cameras. That was it. These like the new stuff a little bit more because we kind of go do these themed events and things, whatever. Like, but like, we're not reshooting? They're like, we never reshoot a reaction. But Dave's like, I had a house in the Hamptons next door to the Housewives when they were filming a trip, and I watched them refilm the same thing like 7 or 8 times. So shows like Housewives definitely scripted. I don't think a show like a Jersey Shore is. I Vanderpump, I frankly think that they more just set these people up, and these people do themselves dirty, frankly.
it's probably, but I'm just talking in reality in a whole.
Oh yeah.
I think there's more reshooting, and I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Like, I'm not complaining about it, but I think it's a thing.
Um,
Reality.
Last side note, and look, not to bring a negative story into the light, because we've had a lot of negativity, obviously, with this season. Old story, we talked about Stassi. Obviously, Stassi and Kristen Doty were let go of the show a few years back because of the situation with Faith Stowers. They talk about the harassment, all that type of stuff, whatever. So it's coming back up again in the news. So Faith actually has started a GoFundMe, and this is allegedly to gear up for more or some additional attempts at legal action towards Stassi specifically. I know that Stassi in her book had just released her second book and does acknowledge that situation within the first few pages, apologizes, whatever, and then does kind of move on with the book, frankly. I'm not sure if this is Faith really trying to coincide with that timing and maybe having another attempt. I'm not trying to say she's right or wrong. But when you see things like the GoFundMe's, that's going to, unfortunately, I think, lead to a lot of internet negativity heading her way, whether she deserves it or not, because people are going to think it's all money grab.
Yeah, I mean,
It kind of is.
it kind of feels like that's probably the case because of the situation with the franchise as a whole, but never know.
Maybe she thinks that somehow Stassi is making some Scandival money.
It's possible, man.
It's a shame. It's a situation. In Faith, if you really go back, I mean, some involved in some of the infamous events in the lore, aka right. Old Lady Gate with Jax, probably the right. craziest, cringiest thing of maybe of all time. You know, talking about Scandival. They hooked up.
Conveniently forgot about.
Oh my god, this show. Make sure you like to subscribe. We're covering any Vanderpump news rules that are going to be news that are coming. Anything that we get any more confirmations for season 11, any other cast updates, anything else going on with Lisa Vanderpump's new show. We have a video about that back in the playlist. The new show Vanderpump Manor going to be out in France. Pretty wild. Also check out the other shows we're covering. The Bachelor and Claim to Fame premiere this week. We are also covering the Big D and Love Temptation Island on USA. Brian's covering Love Island and Love and Hip Hop Atlanta on TikTok. I'm covering Below Deck Sailing Yacht on TikTok. A lot of reality TV clips of the day and news also there as well. Follow us on Instagram as our main social media account. Also do Twitter. But until the next Vanderpump Rules video, for myself and Brian, thank you. Peace.